first side. Second side is getting this color coming along nicely. I'm going to take some scraps left over from the fluted mushrooms that I've made and the quarter mushrooms that I made. I might even drop a little bit of shallot in there and start to enhance and build flavor at the start of this braise. Cool? Here we go. Mushrooms. They kind of look ratty, but later I'm going to strain your sauce off out of there anyway and get them out of there, right? Let's get a little bit of shallot in there. Just scrap. Shake them down in, let them hit that pan, let them start to color and caramelize a little bit. I don't want to burn them up now, right? Sorry? You want to know who's faster with the knife? Dumb or Luke? This is not a competition.
When you're on top.
Look, I can be super fast, but if I want to be precise, I might have to slow down. When I really think I'm on the game and I'm cutting like 8 hours a day and I really feel like I'm an expert as much as I've ever been, then maybe I can be super fast and precise too. And then that's really great, right? But, all right, so I'm going to deglaze now, guys. After deglazing, I'm going to reduce this white wine for a little bit so it becomes nice and mellow in flavor. Now I'm going to bring in liquid. My liquid, really, I kind of prefer to go brown stock all the way, but we were a little bit short on brown stock today. Tomorrow there's going to be a lot of brown stock when you cook, and it's going to be nice brown stock because it's going to be reduced. This color will be improved. It'll be darker than this stuff right here. It'll be richer and have more gelatin in it. Because the chef that is taking care of it is going to reduce some of it today, and overnight tonight it's going to be really awesome tomorrow when we come in.
Is that what you deglaze the chicken with, Chef?
I deglaze the chicken with white wine, and I'm going to bring in some stock. And in this case, today I'm going 50% chicken stock, 50% brown stock. White chicken and brown veal, right? And because really, technically, if you look at Escoffier or the old books, the chicken chasseur is made using a brown stock or a demi-glace. Now, am I going to get some color contribution from my brown flour in here and so forth? Yes, I really am. And how much chicken stock and how much brown stock? Left enough to cover the chicken about half to 2/3. I say 2/3 is smart because I want it to be submerged and simmer for a while and get nice and tender. And then a little later on, as the chicken gets tender and I take it aside and strain the sauce off, I can reduce that liquid nicely and make it into a coating consistency and get it a little smooth. Very uptown looking, right? This really probably started off as kind of maybe a peasant dish or a you know, a manor house dish. You know, you had a lot of cooks that would never eat this kind of food if they weren't working for the big guy with the big house and the big staff and the big dollars, right? But they were sometimes country dishes that the guy, you know, and naturally as soon as they were cooks working for these French manor houses, before the peasants finally rose up and threw the bums out, right? There was an esprit de corps among the cooks, and there was a league, and there was colleagues, and there was a guy you cooked with 2 years ago, and he went over to that place, right? Or he had to haul ass over to that place to save his life, and he's over there now working for that other guy over on the other side of the river, right? But I remember what he did. Well, except naturally I'm a cook, so therefore I want it to be better, so I'm going to make it better. And it developed, and it got beautiful. And it got beautiful because people had money to spend. And part of being like the badass was having the guy with the money to throw the most badass party, right? And if you really were just dripping money, you could pay those cooks to make things as beautiful as they could get it. And so the craft developed into something quite amazing. It went from grandma food to soup food, right? Okay, I'm going to get this in here now. I brought this to a simmer, and I'm going to put a parsley stem or two in it. I'm going to put a thyme sprig in it. I'm actually a little short of time. I'll run around and get some more after you guys are off my watch here. And
parsley, thyme.
Parsley, thyme. I'm going to throw in some of the scraps of the tomato that I trimmed. Thank you very much. I'm going to throw in some scraps of the tomato. I made some nice diced fillet of tomato, right? Nice, fairly even squares. Truly, they're not diced. They're more like paisans, right? And in the process, I took the seeds away from them. I took that interior pulp away from them. and that stuff is left over. And here's how I cut that tomato. I stood it up like a cantaloupe, trim one end off, and stand it up like I'm going to trim the peel off a cantaloupe, right? Cut it down like this. And there I have that nice little flat, straight piece that we'll call filet. And I'll take some nice little squares off that, cut one end, cut the other side, make nice straight sticks, turn them sideways, trim them so they're square. Cut, 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 cut. Got some nice little kind of dice or paisans there. You guys can see that, right? Nice and even without seeds. Awesome. I'm going to put them in very late so they don't get all beat up and lose their shape and so forth, right? But I don't really like to sacrifice that awesome tomato flavor from that pulp and core of that tomato. The seeds, the seed gel and all that carry a lot of flavor. Here's what I'll do. Whack it up. Throw some of it in there. Don't you think? Maybe that's more than I want. I just need a few tablespoons of it. Shake it down in there. Do I need to salt and pepper this a bit? I say no, because the sauce is going to reduce and concentrate everything that's already in there. And because I did season the chicken already, right? So I will not add salt and pepper. I might walk over, get a bay leaf and put it in there. And now I'm going to cut this heat low. I'm going to put a piece of foil over top of it. And I'm going to cook it gently in about a 400 degree oven. Now it sounds like, what do you mean gently in a 400 degree oven? Well, it's a liquid. Oh, you got it right here. Thank you, Chef. So the oven at 375 or 400 will be hot enough to keep this sauce bubbling right along. It won't be just jumping and boiling, but if I open it and take the lid off, it'll be simmering, which is good for tough, high connective tissue, low dollar cuts of meat, which is what I'm working with here, right? When we braise, we do this with these low dollar pieces of meat because we can enhance flavor, because we can take something tough and make it super tender. It's going to come off that bone like butter if we get this right, right? And because we can make a tremendous sauce. High connective tissue meats have a lot of gelatin in them as they break down that is given off into contributing to the quality of the sauce. There's a reason we take a cheap piece of meat and braise it like this. It's going to make our brown stock become even better. So I got that bay leaf in there. I think I told you guys I'd put an extra thyme sprig or two in. I got a cover on it. I'm going to just get it in the oven and let it go. If I went to a convection oven, I'd have to get a big piece of foil and go all the way around that pot because it's going to suck the foil right off there. But if I go a 400 degree conventional oven right behind me over here, that's going to be just wonderful. I'm expecting it's going to take me 45 minutes, 50 minutes to get this thing really nice and tender. Maybe 40, right? And during that time, I'm going to take the foil off once or twice and flip those chickens over. I'm going to tell you, as soon as I stick this in, why I'm doing that. Okay, so chicken's half covered in liquid, right? Down below, the chicken is exposed to the liquid, and its flavor is coming out and making the liquid better and richer. And the chicken is, what's chicken getting out of it? Becoming tender, right? Up above, the chicken is exposed to the dry radiant heat from the top of that foil. Later on, I might even take the foil off so it can evaporate a bit. And the liquid that's on the chicken kind of shrinks and dries into a bit of a glaze and gets some color to it, gets kind of gelatinous. And then when I flip it over, the wet chicken underneath gets glazed, and the chicken that was on the top that was glazed goes where? Down in the liquid to give off that nice glaze into that liquid. This is genius. I wish the hell I made this stuff up. Right? And I don't know how they did it, but they figured out some really cool stuff, and I'm in awe of it every time I do it. I can do it like 80 times and still say, man, this is great shit. Right? It really is beautiful. See, so I don't invent a lot that's new, but if I could just be a good student of what has been figured out in the French cuisine, would I say that word with that camera running? Yeah. Man, I'm busted. Okay, so but if I can understand what we do and how to make it really nice and present it well, it's going to make me a great cook, right? That's what I'm going to do. Take a second and sanitize my station for a second time. I did it once already anyway. Just going to double check and make sure I'm all good. Let that thing simmer way back there. During the course of that braising, I'm going to maybe turn it over once or twice while Chef David shows the whole stuff with the chicken and all that. A little later on, I'll kind of give you the details on the garniture that's been cut for it and how that's going to be incorporated at the very end. Okay? Any questions? All good. Okay. All you, Chef.
How long does it take to make rice peel off? 15 minutes. About 12, 15 minute rest period.
Yes.
You get rested a little bit. I would think that the length of time it takes for me to grill and rest my chicken would be in